Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from Salt Lake City in Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up today, we're going to talk a little bit more about resignation from church.
Leaving your church on the for real.
Yeah, we talked about a group of people who did it en masse last week.
Right. Mormons.
And we actually had a lot of inquiry about it, so we wanted to talk a little bit more about it. We didn't realize it was going to be such a hot button issue.
You guys got us thinking about it.
Yeah.
We're on a kick now, but we'll let you know about that later. We'll tell you all about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
About it.
Yeah, because that's what we do.
Yes.
Hopefully, we're telling people about something.
Telling you guys about things is kind of our gig. Speaking of which, should I tell them about something?
Yeah, go for it, Dan.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys about Black Jesus.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Contrary to Megyn Kelly's remarks, like last year. Do you remember last year when Megyn Kelly was like, Jesus was white?
Oh,
Blah, blah, blah.
she's a Fox one, right?
Yeah, she's a Fox News anchor woman.
Okay.
Person. She was insistent that Jesus was white. It was just
Right.
like, oh, okay, Megyn Kelly.
Like white. Like blonde hair, blue-eyed white.
I don't know.
Northern European
She
white.
just said white.
Yeah,
Whatever that means.
And she meant like her.
She meant blonde and pretty.
Why would Jesus be any other race but me?
Jesus is blonde and pretty like me.
Okay.
Anyway, Cartoon Network. You and I both have enjoyed the Adult Swim
Since it's
since
earliest
it's
days.
right.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network does Adult Swim, which is late at night after the kiddies go to bed. They do the craziest shit. They stop. It's not all cartoons.
No.
A bunch of it's not. That's where one could see Robot Chicken, which is really fun. And Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job, was on there and stuff.
Docs was on that.
Right. So the new show is Black Jesus. That's the show that they are going to be launching. It's set to launch this upcoming week, August 7th.
And I know that they do live action stuff, but I just assumed, also because I was only listening to the trailer when you were playing it earlier, and how ridiculous it sounded, that it had to be animated.
No, this is a live action show starring Gerald Slink Johnson. Slink is in quotation marks.
Does he go by Slink?
I guess he goes by Slink.
Hey, Slink.
Yo, Slink Johnson, what's up? Play Jesus for us, is what they said. And he was like, okay, that's why they call me Slink. I'm about to slink into Jesus.
Okay. He looked familiar. What has he been in before?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
You can IMDb him if you want to.
I'm not going to.
Anyway, the setup of the show is that it's modern, it's contemporary times, and Jesus, this Black Jesus, with strangely long flowing hair, I guess to make him look more like Jesus.
Jesus had long hair.
Right. Everybody knows Jesus had long hair and a beard. So he has long hair. He has just gone with the goatee, not the full beard. Anyway.
All right.
Long flowy
I'll grant him that.
Black Jesus.
That's okay.
In Compton, California.
Okay.
City of Compton.
Yeah.
And he's spreading love and kindness to the people of Compton.
Good.
And the trailer's cute, and I anticipate it being a decent show. I don't know.
It's a late night show, so hopefully you are intoxicated.
Right.
In some way.
Get your ass drunk and then enjoy the show.
Yeah.
There will be some that won't enjoy the show, that have already decided not to enjoy the show.
Before they've even seen a single episode?
They've seen the trailer, and let me tell you, as one Monica Cole, director of 1 Million Moms, said, this show is blasphemous, irreverent, and disrespectful. They are basing that entirely on the YouTube trailer, which y'all can go and see.
Which is blasphemous.
It's really not. It's so funny. Like at one point, she accuses them of having Jesus use foul language. But the only thing I remember is him going, "Oh yeah, well bless you too."
Oh yeah. It feels.
It
has
like
that.
He's using it. He's using it in a way
foul language
that feels foul, but
it feels
not.
foul. Yeah.
This cold lady said, as a Christian ministry, we felt like we could not excuse this behavior for any television company. Now, normally they don't go after television that's geared only to adults.
Right.
Normally they go after television that's geared toward kids.
But they felt the need this time.
This has crossed the line.
Wow.
It's quote, extremely sad when mocking someone's faith is someone's entertainment.
Yeah.
Actually,
it's not that. It's actually funny.
It's pretty fun. We enjoy
it's
it
not sad.
a lot. So
the emotion that I feel is not sadness. Not at all.
no.
Okay.
She needs to, I mean, yeah, mocking atheists is a lot of entertainment for a lot of Fox News watchers.
Yeah.
So
Fair game.
turnabout,
Yeah.
they say, is fair play. Yeah, she is up in arms. She's not the only one. 1 Million Moms is not the only organization angry about this. The American
No?
Family Association.
Okay. What do?
They gripe. That's their job. I think it's
Okay.
in their charter.
Okay.
We are here to gripe. These are the guys that went after Honey Made graham crackers and Disney Channel and JCPenney, all for having gay-friendly
delicious,
messages.
fun, and stylish. Like, why? What would their gripes be?
Indeed. How could anyone come up with a gripe for that? They've launched a campaign asking people to send emails to Turner Broadcasting Corporation to pull the show before it airs. And apparently they've sent more than 130,000 emails, according to them. According to the
That's
American.
impressive. Okay.
Yeah. Turner says, no thanks. We'll just keep going.
Because it's a win for them.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They're getting publicity up the wazoo because people are writing this thing. And Turner already knew that none of those people were going to be in the audience.
None of those people watched. None of those people tune into Robot Chicken
No, they're not watching any of that stuff.
because it already pushes their buttons.
Right, exactly.
So
If they had watched Robot Chicken, they would have seen countless Jesus sketches.
absolutely.
I mean, like, this is just par for the course.
Yeah.
But one does suddenly wonder, is it the blasphemy that they're on about, or is it the blackness that they're on about? The blasphemy.
Like what real?
Did you catch that, everybody? Blasphemy?
Unfortunately, I did catch it down. Yeah.
That's right. I invented that word. I take full credit. You're welcome, everyone.
And the world thanks you.
Mm-hmm.
Not really.
But yeah, that's I'm thinking if this were white Jesus in Compton, getting himself in some wacky situations,
You're really going to accuse these people
the religious right
of racism?
Yeah, you're right. There's no history there that could possibly back that up. You're right. I'm not going to go down that road because there's no history that would possibly tell us that that racist motivations could be part of this.
Mm-mm.
I do think I do have my objections. I will say that this show itself strikes me as vaguely racist. The show itself has things like it's got all of your archetypal black characters.
You know what though?
Angry black woman. I will smack. I don't care if you're the Lord and Savior. I will smack your face.
As long as it's coming from black people, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm. Not.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, sure.
It's just like gay people can make fun of gay people.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It's
know.
true. I'm just not allowed to make fun of anybody. As a straight white man.
You got straight white men to make
That's
fun
true.
of.
And I will
Dan.
make fun
and
of
there's
them.
plenty of you and plenty of material.
I'll
and I
even make
wish
fun
you
of
would just get started.
I haven't been doing that? Oh my God. Yeah, it's true that I'm guessing that almost all of the objections to this show come from the straight white community.
I bet if you just looked a little bit, you'd see some critique from some black preachers.
Maybe.
I bet you could find it. Like, because does it meet their a typical Christian's definition of blasphemy? Absolutely. They're representing Christ
No
in a comical ridiculous fashion.
Right.
Of
Now,
course it's blasphemy.
there is another side to this. There are those who, like Robert Thompson, director of the Blyer Center for Television and Popular Culture at Syracuse University. He said that maybe this could actually... okay, wait. Is he the one I'm talking about? No, I'm talking about... sorry, I got my two guys mixed up. Dwayne Wickham, Dean of Morgan State University's School of Global Journalism and Communication. He wrote in USA Today that the show should stay on the air because it may actually convert people. He says that this shows... because, like, Jesus, the original real Jesus, apparently, he was associating with some sketchy characters.
Right.
There in Galilee.
So you're saying this is a secret, a really clever way of getting Christ's message onto Adult Swim?
Right, because because the end message will always be one of loving and of forgiveness and blah blah blah. So he says, this may be a better way of translating Jesus's message than than some stuffy pastor.
Meh. All right. Fine.
The Robert Thompson guy was the one that I originally was attributing that to. It was actually not that. He's the one that said that, quote, there has been a lot of visualizations of Jesus that have been on a whole spectrum of what might have been considered an accurate depiction of what he might have actually looked like. I think by and large, if you go to ask, he said, and then of course he backs off of it and just says that it doesn't matter what race he was. What matters is the content of his message.
And that it was universal and meant for everyone.
Right. And that he was white. I mean, no, sorry. Never mind. All right, let's move on.
Yes, let's do. Well, I have the story of do you remember, I can't remember how long ago it was, but New Jersey banned gay conversion therapy for minors. Do you remember when that happened?
Yeah. I was very pleased when that happened.
It was impressive, actually, in my mind. Well, of course, the religious right, they turn to the courts. They love the courts when they can use them for their purposes.
Yes.
They turned to the courts, and it went up to a federal... Well, they sued in federal court. I don't know how far it got. But anyways, so the federal judge just came down and sided with the state of New Jersey. And said that that there is no violation of religious freedom when you're trying to when what the state's trying to do is prevent child abuse. This is the which is,
I think that's
absolutely amazing. And the judge refers to conversion therapy as a pseudoscience. She says, surely it is undisputed that a state has the power to regulate not only medical and mental health treatments deemed harmful, but also those that are ineffective, and they're not based on medical or scientific principles, but instead on pseudoscience. The fundamental rights of parents does not include the right to choose a specific medical or mental health treatment that the state has reasonably deemed harmful or ineffective. To find otherwise would create unimaginable and unintentional consequences.
Well, I'll be damned.
Ta-da! The state of New Jersey and a federal judge who had jurisdiction over New Jersey says no.
Yeah, if only more states would follow suit.
Well, I would think that at this point...
Something tells me Utah's not going to be high on that list.
No.
That's not going to happen here very quickly.
Even though I think there's only one real gay conversion thing left in Utah.
Yeah, but Utah was such a pioneer, and you've got so many people believing so deeply in if not conversion. I mean, the church, the LDS church has backed off of it.
They have backed off, yeah.
But there's a lot of folks that still get mighty uptight.
Yeah.
When their kid comes and says, "Mom and Dad, I think I'm gay."
Well, yeah. But anyways, it's safe for gay kids now in the state of New Jersey.
Well, hooray!
They can be gay. They don't have to worry about their parents.
Well, they don't have to worry about conversion therapy.
conversion therapy.
Something tells me their parents could still be a problem.
I didn't finish that sentence.
Oh yeah, okay.
They don't have to worry about their parents throwing them into some sort of conversion therapy.
Right. Throwing them into a basement.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely
locking them up or something.
Sure, but I think there's now a much better case for
yeah,
child abuse.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So
good. I mean, but truly, what is the world coming to if we can't abuse at least our gay kids? At least the gay ones. We have to not abuse anybody. Anybody.
What if I know we can't abuse our gay kids and I know we can't abuse our redheaded kids, but what if we abused our redheaded gay kids?
Yeah. Just the gay gingers.
We need someone to abuse.
Just throw us a bone here. Who can I abuse, for Christ's sake?
This is ridiculous.
What if he's gay, redheaded, and atheist? Can I abuse him yet? Surely I can. Jesus is okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move on to... I was going to give a location, but I'm going to talk about all over this fair country of ours. You know that Pope Francis guy? He's not all over this country of ours, but he lives at the Vatican, as you know, which is one of the most elaborate palaces in the world. Opulence, beauty, extravagance.
And he has a small apartment there.
And he lives in the small little suite in the guest house. Because he doesn't like all that extravagance. He thinks that sends the wrong message. And I would tend to agree with him. I think that's... Well... I mean, the idea...
What's the right message?
Well, that money should go to the poor and not to the already wealthy. That would be Jesus's message.
If I found myself in a situation where I had worked my whole life to rise to the top of an organization,
to the upper echelons of Catholicism.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna dance for the whole world to see. To steal a line from, I think, Driving Miss Daisy.
Or to steal a line from Mel Brooks, the producers. If you got it, flaunt it, baby, flaunt it. Well, you would be apparently in good company.
Really?
There's an article on CNN about the digs of some of the archbishops and cardinals of the United States of America.
Oh.
They're not doing too shabby.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We got the first one that they go for is Timothy Dolan of New York. We've heard of him. We've reported on that guy.
Yeah.
He's not so much of a peach. I don't love the guy.
Yeah.
I have walked apparently past his house before. Now that I see a photo of it, I totally recognize it. It's enormous, and it's right on Madison Avenue in Manhattan.
No way.
Gorgeous, huge. It is 15,000 square feet of prime Madison Avenue.
No way.
Real estate. Valued. CNN did some interesting work where they hired a firm to evaluate, to appraise,
to pull some comps.
To appraise the value of the place as is. Now, mind you, if you used the land for something else, it might be worth significantly more. But just as is, $30 million.
Oh wow! Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Cardinal's
he's doing well.
Doing well for himself. Cardinal Francis George. He's a Chicago Cardinal. Not too shabby either. 19 chimneys on his little mansion, sitting on 1.7 acres of prime Chicago real estate, right in the Gold Coast neighborhood. I don't know Chicago, so I don't know what that means, but I assume it's pretty fancy. Worth $14.3 million.
Wow. Does he light all the fireplaces at once?
He does, as a matter of course. He at all times there's a fire in
there
every
better
room.
Be smoke coming from every single chimney.
And if it's white smoke,
times.
then
he just got elected.
Then he's the Pope. The Pope of Chicago.
I almost the first thing that flashed to my mind was not a good joke.
Okay.
No.
You don't care to share?
Well, I don't know how it's pretty bad. It was just something about I think I can modify it to where it's not too bad. Just something about, some new gay lover. I don't know.
Oh.
It was going to be about a molestation, but that didn't feel right to me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like if
Another child got molested.
If it's
in
pink
his
smoke,
diocese.
if it's pink smoke, then it's a happy union between two consenting gay men. If it's white smoke,
yeah, that's why
altar
Dan.
boy.
No,
Altar boy.
don't. I was intentionally not trying to make the joke.
Yeah,
And
but then you did.
No, I told you what the topic was.
Yeah.
And
Anyway.
then you made a joke with the topic.
You're welcome.
That's what you just did.
Archbishop James Sartain of Seattle is living in a $3.84 million joint. Hartford, Connecticut.
He needs to get a better diocese.
Right. The listener, the astute listener that sent this in, whose name I don't have pulled up. Sorry, listener. I love you anyway. Loved the digs of Archbishop Thomas Wensky of Miami, who lives with his secretary, a priest.
Oh,
I see.
in Miami?
I see. By secretary, do you mean cabana boy? Because it's a 6-bedroom, 6-bath house with a tiki hut and pool in the backyard overlooking Biscayne Bay.
Is there a photo of the secretary?
No.
What was his name
but
again?
let's just imagine.
What was his name?
Archbishop Thomas Wensky.
Archbishop
I don't know that you're going to get his
Thomas Wensky.
Wenski.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
you
I
keep
mean
going.
that's a nice little area they got. Looking at $1.38 million
Ooh.
for that Miami-Dade palace. Just lots of nice digs. Now there are people that go the other direction. There are the bishops who have forsaken that. Several archbishops have sold off their diocese big digs for something smaller and more nicer. Oh wait! Oh, you're
This is
showing
a
me
photo of the Archbishop.
Oh yeah, the
Okay.
archbishop. He looks kind of like Tom Ford's older brother, the mayor of
Okay.
Toronto.
Okay.
The drunken mayor of Toronto.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Here's
fine.
his
Secretary.
Secretary.
Oh, he's younger and
Not terribly handsome.
not tremendously handsome, but clearly gay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that picture. That priest is gay.
And I would say I could imagine an athletic build.
Well, he swims laps every day.
Yeah.
He likes
Well, Archbishop Tiki Hut
Archbishop Tiki Hut. I like that.
sits in his tiki hut.
or just exactly, is sipping coffee, maybe in his room watching from above. Anyway, so Boston's Cardinal Sean O'Malley resides in a rundown rectory on the South End.
Good for him.
He's in Southie.
Okay. Good.
Archbishop Charles Chaput of Philadelphia sold the church's $10 million mansion when he moved because he just didn't feel like it was necessary to live in a residence that large.
Well, that's nice for him to make that decision for himself. But why did he have to ruin it for anyone who comes after him?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what we need to be worried about.
Fine. Okay, you don't want to live in the mansion, but other people have worked hard.
Don't be a dick
in
about
their
it.
lives.
What about the next guy?
Yeah. Don't ruin it for the next guy. That's like rule number 1.
This isn't about you.
Don't ruin it for the next guy. Ugh, that makes me
Anyway,
mad.
there you go.
Actually.
All
Are
right,
you done?
Yeah, go.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to turn to the story of the Ebola.
Oh, that's a
Ebola.
fun one.
Yeah. There's been this absolutely terrible Ebola outbreak in West Africa.
This is a viral disease, just so that we can.
Yeah. It initially manifests itself with some gastrointestinal stuff. It's almost flu-like, actually, at the very beginning. But it
So if you
develops
get-
into bleeding orifices and just
And like liquefied organs and
some
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, if the movie Outbreak is to be believed. Yes, you are right. But
I think the takeaway is of this story will be, if you get flu-like symptoms, you have Ebola, you should panic
yeah,
instantly.
in West Africa, I believe it has like a 60 or 70% mortality rate, which ain't good.
No.
But it's not highly contagious, right? You
Right.
almost have to try to get Ebola. Clearly, the people who initially got, in any outbreak get it. They weren't trying. I'm not saying that, but like you got to get in like close contact with someone who has Ebola.
Right.
Typically, I think our Western medical officials say that it's only transmitted through bodily fluids. So it's not airborne. It's not like this is going to be the end of all life on Earth. Ebola is not the end of all life on Earth.
Right.
As long as it doesn't mutate. As long as it's, anyways. but anyways, well, so there's these Christian missionaries of sorts, people on mission trips, who are going there and doing medical work, right?
Huh. Yeah.
Take, for example, Dr. Kent Brantley. He was volunteering with Samaritan's Purse. And he, while treating people with Ebola, was caught the virus himself.
Oh dear.
And along with Nancy Wright-Bull, who was sort of an administrative volunteer, not actually doing medical work, but probably once the outbreak got crazy, was in there working with the people, helping them as much as she could, and she caught it as well. And so both of them have been, and they're not the only ones to be flown out, but they are the only two Americans to have been flown out to receive medical care back home. So they are in Atlanta now at Emory University Hospital.
Oh dear.
And so they're getting good help. There's an experimental serum that they actually were treated with before they even left the country.
Okay.
But you bring somebody with a disease like Ebola, back high profile, back into the country, and you have people who are upset about that.
Right.
So you have people who are real they really know what they're talking about, and they're experts in the medical field, like Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
He quit, and Coulter, who chimed in as well.
Oh, good. Oh, I was hoping she would have something to say on this subject, because she's a visionary.
Yeah. She questioned why the missionaries were working in the, quote, disease-ridden cesspools of Africa.
Oh, right. Because she's a good Christian, and she knows that Jesus would never advocate working in.
This is one of the worst situations in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people are poor, they lack good medical care, and a highly deadly disease is breaking out. And these are good people who are going to do good work.
Or disease-ridden cesspool work.
But these people in Africa don't deserve help. And that's what she's saying.
Yeah. Exactly.
And a lot of these people who are criticizing them are Donald Trump says, no, he wasn't really the one. There were a few of them who basically were like, we need to be focusing on our problems here at home. Why aren't they volunteering here at home? There are people who need medical help here. And it's really, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're really nice. Those people have, if anyone typifies sort of the Christian ethic of taking care of other humans, I think that's got to be it. That's got to be the epitome. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, dear God.
There are bad people.
Yeah.
In the world.
Yeah.
Okay, well, all of our best goes out to the sufferers of Ebola. I don't know. We should look up a charity that people can donate to.
Yeah, maybe blog. Mention it on the blog.
Yeah.
Or Facebook.
Or if you guys know of one, send it in to us.
Let us know.
We'll publicize it.
Because
Something
clearly
that's not religious, preferably.
Yeah.
But even if they're doing good work, I don't give a shit.
Well, if they can be religious people going and doing good work, as long as they're not preachy.
As long as they're not preachy. As long as they're not using as long as they're not making it like, hey, FYI, we'll fix your Ebola, just as long as you accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior.
Yeah. Do you want to hear a couple of these tweets before we move on?
Sure.
So these are Donald Trump's tweets.
Oh, good.
Ebola patient will be brought to the U.S. in a few days. Now I know for sure that our leaders are incompetent. Keep them out of here! All in quotes. This is still Donald Trump. Stop the Ebola patients from entering the U.S. Treat them at the highest level over there. The United States has enough problems. A few people with Ebola is not going to cause serious problems. But anyways,
I would like Donald Trump to go and be not exposed to Ebola. I would like him to die. That's true. I would like him to get Ebola.
Okay, here...
I'm just going to be honest.
Okay, let's just put a little cap on that.
Okay.
Here's another one.
Put a pin in that one.
The U.S. cannot allow Ebola-infected people back. People that go to faraway places to help out are great, but must suffer the consequences.
There are consequences to your action, assholes.
Oh, you're being a good human being and helping others out in like places where they don't have resources and there's a problem with some outbreak and whatnot. You're going and doing that. Well, okay, but you have to deal with it.
But you
that's on you.
You accepted those consequences.
Yeah. What? You can't bring that back here. We have problems enough of us as it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
See, the thing, we were talking about this earlier, whether Ann Coulter believes what she says or not.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on with her, but I'm not convinced that she believes everything that she says. Donald Trump, I really truly believe that he is as bad of a human being as he projects out into the world.
Oh yeah, he's not trying to be a clown the way Coulter is.
No.
He just thinks he's allowed to say all of his shit.
Yeah.
Which he is. He's allowed to say it.
Sure.
But how anybody could take that man seriously is a shock to me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to North Carolina. I don't know if you heard about this. It sort of made the rounds on the Facebooks and whatever. In Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at Mary's Gourmet Diner.
Sounds lovely.
Apparently, and if they catch you praying over your food, you might just get a 15% discount on the food. It's the praying in public discount over to Mary's Gourmet.
Good for them.
Somebody posted a picture of their receipt. Mary has made it clear that she doesn't always give this discount.
Oh, okay.
Just when they feel when a server feels moved or when someone feels moved, they give the 15% praying in public discount.
Oh, good for them. I personally find it an obnoxious thing to do.
It's the worst thing in the world to see that at a restaurant.
Excuse me, I'm trying to enjoy my meal and glass of wine.
Right, exactly.
And you're praying.
You're really putting me off my food right now.
This is going to ruin my entire experience.
Please don't. Everyone, please don't pray in public. At all in public. That's private things.
That is private things.
That's private time.
It's absolutely private.
Dear God, we should just go and pray in public. I'm going to start praying over my meals in public really loudly.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is I'll tap a glass and I'll stand up in the dining room of a restaurant and just be, ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I'd like to offer a prayer over our meals.
So if you bless all of our food.
If you just please bow your heads and fold your arms.
I don't want to be selfish with my prayer and only bless my own food.
So I've been told that some people don't like this, and I will just tell the truth and shame the devil. I love praying. I love it. I'm going to keep doing it. No one can stop me. Please bow your heads. Dear Satan.
No.
Just kidding.
Oh, Dan.
Is there anything more obnoxious than prayer in public? Ugh.
Of course there's something more obnoxious,
Yeah.
but it's pretty damned obnoxious.
Yeah. Children in public are really obnoxious.
At restaurants?
Oh, God.
Oh.
Worst. I hate all of your children. Just kidding. What's funny is that I love kids that I know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then there are all these kids that I don't know. And if I don't know your children, fuck your children.
Yeah.
I don't care about your children.
No.
I'm awful. Anyway, what do you got?
This is the story of an Oklahoma teen who was on a mission trip, actually.
Okay.
He went to Kenya.
Okay.
And this is where the story turns. He is accused of molesting Kenyan orphans. He was 19 years old.
Fuck.
I'm not going to go into all the details because the story does mention some of the scenarios and how he would. I mean, he raped kids left and right.
Jesus. He
spanked, caressed, and engaged in sexual acts with young girls and boys. And this is the last one I'll share. He forced the children to watch while he touched himself.
Right.
And when he came home, he started telling his friends about it.
What?
Here's some texts. We have some photocopies of texts. I don't know why there's photocopies. It's kind of funny, but that's the police department.
How do you even photocopy?
I think you put it on the camera or the phone on the on the photocopier.
Right.
Anyways, I don't know. But anyways, so this is from him to a friend, an unnamed friend. How can I not hate this thing inside of me? It takes me at night, and I am powerless over what Luke wants.
Right.
Yes, I named him. I know how crazy that is. He whispers in my ear all day, and he's so hard to resist.
Oh, my.
And his friend responds back. And this is after this kid knows some details.
Yeah, it must.
And he goes, laugh at him. He has no power. Whatever he tells you, just speak the opposite out loud.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
And his friend and then the kid goes, literally, he takes me at night, and there's nothing I can do to stop him. I'm asleep. What can I do? You honestly have no idea. I've prayed so much, but every night, Luke gets what Luke wants.
See,
and
now
then,
this is...
And his friend responds, I don't know, dude. Or IDK, dude. I just know if we could actually see Satan, he would be so small and we wouldn't give him a second thought. Just get on your knees every night and cry out to God. We know that he doesn't stop praying over us as.
Yeah, no.
And so it's like the issue that this really exposes for me, but is not mentioned anywhere, is the fact that this kid is mentally ill, has probably had a schizophrenic break or something of the sort. He's hearing voices.
Yeah.
And the voices are telling him to do bad things.
And he's crying out for help.
And the people in his community are going right along with his whole I'm possessed explanation of the whole thing.
Right.
Which he doesn't know. That's just the narrative that he's created around it.
Right.
And the people, his friends, don't know to be like, dude, it ain't the devil. You're sick.
You need help.
Yeah.
From actual people who can help you. Where was this reported?
Oklahoma.
But in what news outlet did you?
This is the New York Daily News.
Jesus. Well, I just feel like this is the danger of religion. When people say there's no danger in my religion, my religion is harmless.
Yeah.
This is what I have to point out, which is that like it's harmless most of the time, but there could be someone who's like seriously fucked up and actually wants help and is doing serious harm in the universe, and they're not helping him.
Yeah.
They're not taking any steps that are of actual value.
Yeah.
And they don't know what steps are actually of value because they think they do.
Yeah.
The second you think you know what works, you turn off the search for what actually works.
Yeah,
It's driving me crazy.
I know.
That is awful.
But here's a part of the story that I didn't know was a thing.
Okay.
He is being tried in the United States for these crimes that he committed in Kenya.
Yeah, I think I've heard that can happen.
That is amazing, and I applaud whoever made that happen.
Yeah.
It does make it difficult, though, to go to Thailand and enjoy the fruits
of child sexual slavery.
That clearly was a terrible.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say, for your own legal safety, don't participate in anything.
And that's the point. I think
I think
it's absolutely amazing that we're not letting our citizens get away with terrible activity abroad.
Right? Yeah. Because when you first started this, I was like, why are we reporting on? Because we could report on religious sex abuse all day, every day. I find it. I mean, we know that it's happening. It is abominable. It's awful, but it's not really our thing. It's not what we report about.
Right.
But the fact that that he reaches out for people's help, and no one knows how to help him, and as a result, people are raped, and people, children are abused, and stuff. This is the harm, and that's what we need to be protecting people about.
Absolutely.
Well, if you would like to reach us for any reason, there are many reasons why you might want to. You certainly can, listeners. You can contact us by emailing at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Sure. You could go to you could go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
Or there's also the Twitter feed at TGI Atheist as well.
Love the Twitter feeds.
And our website is thankgodimatheist.com. We're going to take a quick break. This is John Hagee.
Ah, yes, the Right Reverend John Hagee, the pastor with the master,
and just all around good guy.
America has a dependent state. Listen to this. America has a dependent state the size of Spain living on our welfare. Think about that. We have a division in our country that cannot long endure. Those who pay double through taxes and those who get a free ride. This is not justice, and this is not the American way, and this is not how we became great. We became great by every American getting off his duff, getting himself a job, and making his life a thing of beauty based on his own efforts. To those of you who are sick, to those of you who are elderly, to those of you who are disabled, we gladly support you. To the healthy who can't work but won't work, get your nasty self off the couch and go get a job. America has rewarded laziness, and we've called it welfare. The Bible says, the man that does not work should not eat. I know the liberals hate that verse, but read it and weep. It's God's position. It's God's position.
God's such a good guy.
Wow. Read it and weep, y'all.
I think it's good to call God on like his moral and
I don't think
problems.
I don't think God's morality is maybe the best way to go. Yeah.
It's okay to question God when he's wrong.
You know what, you nasty the nasty layabouts? No food. You get no food. You lazy, nasty assholes.
Oh, dear God. Well, that's nice.
You got to wonder how many people in his listening audience at that moment are on welfare, through no fault of their own.
Right.
Some of them, some of them may be lazy, but
Right.
most of them aren't.
Right.
You got to wonder how many of them are looking at him going, "Oh shit."
I wonder how many of those people work at Walmart and the government has to pick up the rest of the bill because
Right.
Walmart doesn't pay enough.
Right, exactly. How many? Yeah, exactly. How
mean,
many of them
in effect,
are
our government
working?
subsidizes the Walmart through and allows them to not pay their employees by offering welfare.
Right, exactly. That it's the working poor.
Yeah.
That he is saying, "Get off your duff, you nasty bastards!" And
It's absolutely, yeah. Because oh god, I just get so fucking pissed
yeah,
at this topic.
he's an asshole. That man.
Well, I mean, he's somebody like if he didn't see government as the problem,
Right.
then he wouldn't see the society caring for its less fortunate
Right.
through government, right?
As being
As being a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's read all of the Bible, but there are a whole bunch of parts about like taking care of the poor
Yeah.
and giving to the poor. Not
It doesn't have to
jobs.
be through your church. You can
Right. It does, and it doesn't say, the Bible doesn't say give to the poor jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It just says give.
Yeah.
That's all it says.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus was talking about. Anywho, let's move on. Why don't you? Here's what I propose. I propose we do a sort of back and forthy sort of thing. We got a lot of voicemails today. Let's
We got
start.
a lot of voicemails.
Let's start
this
with a
week.
voicemail.
Okay.
Then I'll do an email. Then we'll do another voicemail. We'll just go back and forth. It'll be all
Dan?
wacky. I know.
Dan, this sounds like fun.
Oh, I'm shaking it up, people. I'm shaking it up.
Okay. So this is a listener who called in with a kind of a disgusting story.
Okay.
Hey, Frank and Dan. This is Ryan from Montana. I just thought I would add on to one of the callers you had last week who was talking about how Catholics don't drink the wine at church. I was raised Catholic, and the reason I stopped drinking the wine when I was still Catholic was one time when I was about 13, a large piece of somebody else's bread or Jesus flesh or whatever you want to call it floated into my mouth while I was drinking the wine, and that is why I stopped until I left the religion. Yeah, I just thought I would add that. Bye.
That is the most disgusting thing ever. And while we're on the topic, I'm just going to jump to Tony writing to us from Sydney, Australia,
Okay.
who said, "Hi, Frank and Dan. I was listening to your podcast number 142, where you were talking about taking of communion and how people didn't drink the wine because of germs. My mom, who is a Catholic, believes that you can't catch anything from the holy chalice because it is blessed. It doesn't matter who drinks from it, germs will not attach themselves to the chalice."
I wonder what she would say if a big chunk of host floated into her
God.
mouth.
That is so revolting. It's so revolting. Body of... I do also want to say, Tony, don't let your mom go to Liberia right now. If she's okay with just sharing germs, whatever they are,
yeah.
keep her
Oh, I
away
see
from
what you're
keep her away from Africa. And at least until this Ebola thing blows over.
No kidding. All right. Well, the next up is a voicemail from Thane, and he's he just asks us a question.
Hello, Frank and Dan. This is Thane, one of your veteran listeners. I've got a question for you and possibly for feedback from your other listeners as well. I find myself with a strong possibility of taking a job promotion, which would involve moving back to Salt Lake City. And when last I left Utah, I was still a believing member of the Mormon Church, albeit a somewhat liberal believing member. Having stopped believing about 3 years ago, I'm wondering what to expect moving back to Utah, not only with fitting back into the culture at large, but also with living in close proximity and therefore having much more frequent contact with the believing members on my side of the family as well as my wife's. Am I in for a culture shock? Anything I can do to prepare myself or my young children for the change? Thanks in advance.
Well, that's a fun question.
Well, there you go. Let me be the first to re-welcome you
Yeah.
to our
Hopefully we get to re-welcome him.
our first. Yeah, I mean, I hope you get the promotion.
Yeah, that'd be great.
For you. Yeah.
And Utah needs more people
Like you.
like you, Thane.
Yeah.
But as far as like what would life in Utah be like, and culture shock and all that? As long as you move into the city,
Salt Lake City proper.
you're gonna be fine. Like, we're not talking like Salt Lake metropolitan area,
Right.
because there's
right.
plenty of problems out in the suburbs. But as long as you're right in the city,
The only shock you
awesome.
may experience is how much fun you're gonna have. Salt Lake's awesome.
yeah. I mean, you still want to get the right neighborhood, but
Sure.
if you look at the avenues or like Yellcrest or 9th and 9th, those are great neighborhoods.
Lots
and,
of fun neighborhoods
Yeah.
and lots of places. The thing is, you will still be surrounded by Mormons.
well,
Not as much as in
surrounded. There'll still be Mormons around.
there's a ward house. There's a Mormon church in every
Yeah, but
3-block radius.
right. But I live with a church just right down the street.
Right.
And yeah, you see the Mormons walk into church on Sunday, but I don't feel surrounded.
No, you're not going to feel.
There will be Mormons in the neighborhood.
Sure.
The
Absolutely.
city's what, 20-30% Mormon at this point?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's pretty low.
I would have guessed higher than that, but I don't know.
I think it's relatively low.
But the point is, you'll if you're
yeah.
in Salt Lake, there's a lot of Mormons. If you're in,
But there's also a lot to do. The community's great. There's,
I think
stuff to.
I think you're right
to,
to understand that the greater concern is dealing with family members
Mm-hmm.
because you have to deal with them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
But you've been navigating that
Yeah.
from afar this
Yeah.
whole time. Now it's it just takes a little bit of. Just remember that Mormons are passive aggressive people, and
Take advantage of that.
yeah, they won't confront you to your face too much. And if they do, just say, this is contention.
He did bring up the schools. I don't know tons about the schools, Dan. You went to
Yeah.
school here.
I
but
did.
A lot has changed since then,
Yeah,
too.
we don't have kids. We don't know anything about helping you with your kids.
Yeah.
Sorry. But there are, what I will say is that there are a lot of groups, local groups that you can join. There's, Atheists of Utah and stuff that have family-friendly activities that offer support.
Yeah.
So look into those and see what you come up with.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I'm going to read an email. This is from Sarah. She said, first off, this is in reference. She's apparently referencing a story that I did about Christian coffee shops. She said, first off, adorable that you two failed Mormon boys did not know about Christian coffee houses. They exist even in Utah, including one of Salt Lake's oldest and most venerable. I do not know which one she's referring
Salt
to.
Lake Roasting Company.
Is it Christian?
It plays Christian music.
Does it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't go there.
Yeah.
I don't like their coffee.
And you are correct
Yes,
in not liking their coffee.
indeed. She wanted to relay a quick and related story. I was at the tail end of travel for a conference, just waiting to head to the airport, wandering around downtown Rapid City, North Dakota, which I believe is their nickname is Excitement USA.
Well, it's rapid.
It's
Everything's rapid.
It's just very fast. My friend and I decided to stop into a coffee shop for a light lunch and some internet access. As we were sitting, my ear tuned into the music, and I said, "Oh, this is a Christian coffee shop." "How can you tell?" asked her friend. She said, "They're playing praise music." Praise music? So then I had to explain about evangelicals / born again's attempts to update hymns via the creation of watered down Christian themed pop tunes that somehow share a recognizable something that makes them praise music. Some of this stuff plays on Christian radio stations, and a lot of it also gets sung with gusto in churches during worship.
Mm-hmm.
I also find it funny and weird that I just know stuff like this still. Happy listening, she says. Well, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah,
Sarah.
I guess I was ignorant about the whole
Yeah.
Christian coffee shop.
It didn't even occur to me to even think, though, of Salt Lake Roasting as a Christian one, because what you described to me last week, I was thinking much more overt in how
Right.
Christian it is, and I've never felt that from Salt Lake Roasting,
No, I've never felt that either.
even though the music does get mixed in with some Christian crap, if I remember correctly.
Good
But it was
Lord.
Sarah, who's an old friend of mine, who pointed that out to me. We had probably a very similar conversation at said coffee shop
I
years
see.
and years and years ago. So.
Oh, there you go. My coffee is heathen coffee. That's the only coffee. You know what's funny?
Way
is that
better.
It's funny how many like atheist groups meet in coffee shops.
Yeah.
I hope some of them meet in Christian coffee shops. It's almost worth it to have a meetup at Salt Lake Roasting Company and suffer through the coffee just to fuck with it. But we won't do that.
The coffee is just
It's not good enough.
not good.
No.
Not good. If it was great coffee, now you might get my attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Such a thing.
Exactly.
But the coffee, you only reward it for good coffee.
We are kind of coffee snobs.
Yeah.
You and I. It's true.
I've got a couple places right now that
They
I just love.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay. Let's play another voicemail.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get back into I'm thinking about coffee.
You're getting out of coffee mode.
Mm-hmm. This voicemail, she's longing. She's longing for something.
Okay.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Dan. This is Laura from Ohio. I had a question for you. My husband and I are the only atheists we know. We live in northern Ohio, where it is very, very, very white and straight and Christian. We recently took a flight, and I happened to look over. We had some pretty bad turbulence, and I happened to look over, and I saw this man making the sign of the cross. And I have to admit, I was a little bit envious that he was so comforted by making this gesture. And even though, I'm a pretty staunch atheist, I thought, boy, it would be nice to have that to comfort me, when someone dies and not having that. I have to admit I was a little jealous, and I just wondered if your thoughts on that, if you guys ever experienced anything like that. And I know the first knee-jerk reaction is to say, I'm not going to believe that bullshit that they believe. But, it is a little, it would be a little nice to have that. Just wondering your thoughts on that. Thanks. Love the show, guys. Take care.
Well, thank you for the call.
That's a fascinating thing.
Fascinating question. And I'm just going to say, we do have that comfort.
Oh?
And it's called Klonopin.
I don't know that that's helpful for everybody.
For every situation.
Yeah.
But if you're on a plane and you're a little anxiety ridden,
then what you do, the way the sign works is that it's a down to your pocket, then twist open the bottle,
push and twist,
then pop a pill, and you're done.
And you're done.
No, I get this. I get this idea because what's nice about this, psychologically speaking, and I'm an expert on psychology, so everyone take everything that I say completely seriously. But it occurs to me that psychologically speaking, what's happening here is that this guy has a gesture, a physical gesture, that goes straight, that he has connected very clearly with a comforting brain pattern, with a thought process that is comforting. And the thing is that while his comfort is pretty cold comfort in reality, it's a psychologically very very nice sort of thing. And what we have as atheists is reason, and reason's great, but it's a longer process. Like, and it's not effective in the moment. Like sitting there and telling yourself, I'm safe. It's very unlikely that anything bad is going to happen to me. This is just turbulence. Turbulence is normal. All of that stuff.
I'm much more likely to die in an automobile accident than while flying in this plane.
All of those things are true and unhelpful.
Happy places are helpful.
Happy places are helpful. But I wonder if there's... I think I call out to our community to come up with something that is like that. A shorthand to quick psychological comfort.
The sign of the A. You start over here, go up to your forehead, go down to your chest.
Go start on your left nipple, go to your forehead, down to your right nipple, up to your shoulder, and back across.
It makes like a star thing, though. It looks
it's a pentagram.
It seems strangely satanic.
I have no problem with that. I don't believe in Satan either. It's just an A. I don't know. I mean, I think that it would be interesting for you to sort of sort out, for us as a group, to find a way to sort out feelings of comfort based on rational thoughts, and then associate those before you are in the situation with some gesture, just a hand on your chest or something.
Yeah.
And then that gesture becomes the same thing. You brought up just an interesting concept. That's all I'm saying. Unfortunately, I don't think it can offer you the same comfort that that guy got.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is realize that guy's comfort is based on a big, stupid lie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. And this is speaking as somebody who has a very highly developed flight instinct.
In the version in the fight versus flight,
Yes.
you run.
Oh dear God.
You're out of
Irrationally run.
there. Whatever it is. Oh my God, I'm leaving.
No, I'm gone. I'm absolutely gone from what, and I had an experience this week where I saw that play out so perfectly with something so stupid, and I was gone.
So how do you fly versus fight in an airplane that's got turbulence?
Well, it's panic.
It's to panic.
Yeah, because then your emotions get out of control, and fortunately, I'm a good flyer.
Okay.
I don't. Flying doesn't freak me out at all.
Right. Me
I'm
too.
not a good lander.
Oh, really?
I don't love landing.
Okay.
I don't mind takeoff.
But landing kind of.
Landing, when those little flaps like flip up, there's something irrational that goes on in my head.
Well,
but not to the point where, again, I achieve panic,
Right.
or that I avoid flying or anything like that.
You know what? Here's what's interesting. As we're saying, like, these kinds of fears are not rational fears.
Right.
Fear itself comes from a place in our brain that doesn't respond well to being rational.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe an irrational way of handling it is fine. You know what? Fucking pray. I don't give a shit. If you're scared.
If once you're on the ground. But no, that leads to the whole "there's no atheists in foxholes" thing, and I'm willing to give them that.
Well, there are, but I'm just saying, like, they've got an interesting trick that calms their psychology.
Could you pray to science?
Pray to anybody. Pray to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Dear Neil, please help this plane get through this moment of turbulence.
Right, exactly. If you need to, pray to Frank and Dan. It doesn't matter.
No, do not. Do not.
Pray. Well, we won't answer
I think this whole praying thing is not a good direction to go down.
I think whatever soothes you in that moment, you'll come back to rationality afterwards.
Right.
You'll rationally know that nothing's happening.
I think you could achieve a lot of the same things, though, by taking a moment of reflection and taking a big, deep breath.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it ultimately would do a very similar thing, which is that person who's praying gets to break the psychological thing that's going on. Whatever whatever
it's a
that
disruptive
loop
thing.
or whatever that's going on in their head, they get to disrupt it. And again, speaking as two trained
Psychology professionals.
we know exactly what we're talking about.
Right, exactly.
But no, that's what it seems like to me, is they're able to like take themselves out of the moment and kind of send their thoughts to someplace else.
Right.
If you're able to do something similar by just,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess probably the truth is that a meditative state is what you need to achieve.
Sure.
There's some great like cell phone apps that are about meditation.
Yeah.
Download one of those before you fly, and then just do a meditation while you're in the air. If things get a little hairy,
Yeah. I have a little meditation podcast that I listen to when I get a little wired up.
do that. I like that. I like that idea.
It's the craziest wooiest thing, and it embarrasses me to admit that I listen to this one particular podcast, but it gets me through moments.
I think you should tell our listeners what it is.
No, I don't need to. But it has like this hi. Please listen to this podcast with headphones on and do not operate your vehicle while listening. You may find yourself in an overly restive state, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on? But they never cross a very specific line for me.
Okay.
It never is mystical.
Right.
It's just, we understand how your mind works.
Right.
And we're going to talk to you in this voice.
But they never be like, send violet light out into the universe.
No, I would shut it off and never listen again. But when I need to just center,
right,
it's awesome. So
I I still think praying is kind of fun. I may start praying just for fun, just as a psychological experiment. Never believing, just praying.
Well, here's the deal. Come up with a pattern that doesn't call on God, but that calls on, I mean, you could kind of in a way pray to yourself. Calls on yourself.
I've actually done that before. When
Really?
I first left religion, I started praying to myself in situations where it was just like I was so fucking used to praying that it was just like I needed to transition out.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to kneel down and I'm going to pray to me.
Right.
And I did.
Right.
I think it's an interesting exercise. Anyway, thanks for the call there.
Yeah, thank you.
I am going to. I think I'm going to skip my next email because I think it's related to one of the voicemails.
The last
voicemail. So what I'm going to do before we get into the last voicemail and last email,
Okay.
I'm going to thank our donors.
Excellent.
Susan is now a subscriber, a monthly subscriber to us.
Thank you, Susan.
As is Michael, who both of you are just peaches, and thank you so much for your help.
Well, thank you, Michael.
And
Awesome.
if any of you out there would care to contribute as well, please do so by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab or button or whatever it is that we've got up there. You okay?
My lower back hurts. I'm fine.
I'm sorry. Why don't you play the voicemail?
All right.
Hi, Frank and Dan. This is Kelsey. I'm a listener in Boise, Idaho. I was just listening to your most recent episode and talking about resigning from the church and kind of the confidentiality and how Mormons have a way of kind of weaseling out of that. Just a quick story. I resigned. I sent in my letter. It was probably a month or two ago. It happened to be the same day that I dropped my baby sister off at the airport for her to fly to the Dominican Republic to serve her LDS mission. So I dropped her off at the airport, mailed in my letter, and then when I went in to talk to my bishop and stake president, because I know them personally, I grew up in the same area, I went in to chat with them after they received the notification from Salt Lake City headquarters, and when I sat down, the stake president said, "Hi, we understand you want to resign. I just want to let you know that I noticed the part about the confidentiality, and I received the notification of your letter on the same day that I was going on this camp out with your father, and so I just want you to know I didn't talk to him. I wanted to respect that." And I was really grateful for that. And then the bishop, who was sitting right in the room there next to him, looked at me and he said, "Oh, well, I already told your mom. I didn't want her to be surprised." So he kind of blew that out of the water. And I guess moral of the story is my parents are kind of passive-aggressive. They don't, as most Mormons are, they don't like talking about unpleasant things. And I live with them because I'm divorced and I'm a single mom. And so now there's been kind of this awkward thing where I had planned to sit down and talk to them about it, but they already knew before I even went in to talk to the bishop and stake president, and no one has said anything for several months. So it's this awkward thing that hangs over all of our heads. But fortunately, nothing has exploded yet. Anyway, love the podcast. Keep up the good work, and I'll, keep it up. Bye.
Oh, my God. Those two needed to be on the same page.
Oh my God! Well, this is part of the problem now, isn't it? You can ask for confidentiality all you want, but when you've got a lay clergy in the Mormon Church, everybody might not be on the same page.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, oh shit! I already told your mom. Sorry. That is so fucking funny.
Oh.
And I love that the family no one said anything to anyone. That's amazing. That right there.
I wonder if the mom has told the father.
You are Mormonism encapsulate right there. That's exactly what Mormonism is. I'm going to read this email. It's on the same topic.
Okay, great.
This is from Tom in Minnesota. He says, "Hi guys, I'm a new listener." Well, hi, Tom.
Yeah, hey, Tom.
In yesterday's podcast, show number 142, you spent some time talking about leaving the LDS Church. I was moved by your interview with a young man who was preparing to send his letter of resignation to the LDS Church. His voice sounded emotional and very nervous or even fearful. I was raised in an extremely conservative Catholic environment, but I never felt that it was necessary to send the Catholic Church a letter of resignation when I came to the realization that I'm an atheist. I'm curious why you guys sent formal letters of resignation to the LDS Church. Also, I heard you use the word legal or legally in reference to your resignation, and I do not understand that. Would you please consider either in email to me or in a future podcast educating me and perhaps others in my shoes who do not know much about the LDS Church and why you would send in letters and use the word legal. And he says, I know other Catholics turned atheists, and none of us have submitted letters of resignation. I had never thought about the possibility of doing so until I listened to your show last night. I'm not sure whether I would receive a response if I were to do so. Have you heard of it from any other listeners who came from other religions, such as Catholicism, who have done this?
Interesting.
Thanks for writing in, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
So this got us thinking.
Yeah.
About resignation from a church in general.
Well, it's become very much part of the post-Mormon experience.
Indeed.
To resign from the LDS Church.
And there's much discussion about when in one's process one should do it, if one should do it, what are the consequences of doing it.
And I've had my own theories as to like why the Mormon Church has it. I know that it's fairly unique to Mormonism, where people feel this need to renounce it when they're done.
And to get off of
I'm
the
sure
rolls.
and to get off the rolls. That's, to not be able to be counted. They're so proud of their numbers.
Right.
That you just kind of want to stick it to them. You want to be like, well, here's a -1.
Although I think the dominant theory among the post-Mormon community is that the church will still continue to count you. I don't think that's true.
I don't know.
There's no possible way to find out.
Right.
But it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. But I mean, and my theory has always been that there's something very intense about the Mormon experience. That when you are trying to get yourself out of it,
right?
That because it's sort of all inclusive. It's all or nothing.
It is all or nothing.
You
in a way
either go to church every single week, or you are considered. You're put into a category of less active or inactive,
right?
And everybody's very concerned for you, because you're supposed to go every single week.
We're not talking about something as intense as, say, the Jehovah's Witnesses, where leaving can result in official shunning.
Right, but I'm talking about the overall experience.
Right, indeed. It is intense in its own unique way. It's a very uniquely intense situation. And
whereas Catholicism feels like to me as an outsider, as having space within the community for having a less than 100% sort of overall commitment.
Right.
And that being okay.
I think Catholicism, Church of England / Anglican / Episcopalian isms all do have space. Even within the church, there's room for you to not be active in the church, for you to not be part of the church, and yet they still consider you part of, like, a member. So, like, it doesn't feel important to tell them I'm leaving. It doesn't feel like it has any impact, and it doesn't feel like necessary. Because you can be culturally Catholic,
right,
in a way that you can't really be culturally Mormon.
Well, and another thing that Mormonism typically requires of you is active participation. That you get a calling, a quote unquote calling,
and they're pretty intense about it.
Yeah,
and so matter of fact, one of the ways that they will try and like pull you back in if they see that you're not showing up to church every week is that they will call you to do a job every week at the church.
Yeah. I mean, there was never a moment growing up when my parents didn't have responsibilities at church.
Exactly.
And my friends and their parents, it was always the same thing. Whether you were the Relief Society president or a Relief Society teacher or
Sunday
school teacher or a chorister,
teaching in the primary, which is the children's,
the librarian. There was just so many different things.
My dad was the ward clerk for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. There's all these different things that are just this one little bit of responsibility to make the ward work, and they divvy that all out to the people. And
Right.
what it does, and what's brilliant about it, is it keeps you coming.
Yep.
Because then you feel bad if you're slacking off.
You have a responsibility.
Yeah.
In terms of your question, Tom, about the legal ramifications of this, there are legal things at play here. Even with your Catholicism, legally right now, they get to consider you a member of their church, and you are and you are therefore sort of subject to them. They can publish you sort of publicly as a member, and they have...
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know that they can... I mean, they can't... You have privacy rights, but not as... But they also... I mean, you're part of their communion, and they can make... You know, they can talk about that. So there are, and I don't know all of the legal rights. What I do know about.
Well, I've always thought of sort of the legal concerns as being sort of your own personal legal rights to affiliate and not affiliate with whatever you want or not want to. So
Correct.
I know that when I'm talking about sort of legal things with resignation, that's more where my mind is. I'm thinking about, I have every right to make sure that my name is not included in your membership records.
Right.
And so the question really becomes, when you start talking about other churches, the thing about Mormonism is also they keep the records. Like, if you went to the downtown office, the main offices for the LDS Church, somewhere in there, whether it's on a computer or an actual file card or whatever, is your name, your birth date, who your parents are, and all sorts of facts and information about you. Maybe your address. If you're an active member, your address will be there.
Yep.
Your phone number may be there. Like they know who you are at church headquarters.
And they have the right to contact you.
The Vatican doesn't do that, right?
No,
they
do.
The Vatican keeps...
Not the Vatican centrally.
Okay.
But every parish keeps very strict records of baptisms.
Right.
Very strict records.
A parish does, and that's the difference that I'm drawing. It'd be the
Okay.
difference between a ward and the central church downtown, right? The wards, they do keep records, but they keep the same records. Those records are issued to them from the downtown church, right? Whereas if you're Catholic, the Vatican doesn't get involved. There's nothing central about it. It's your parish, and that's it.
Although at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if everything was computerized and it all did sync up to the Vatican at some point. I would not be surprised if they had a list.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I know how traditionally it has worked.
Right.
And your parish has your records. That's where like your baptism and your confirmation and all that's going to be. A parish will keep records of all the marriages that have been performed there. It's so forth and so on.
Right.
And so so I think if as a Catholic you were wanting to go through some similar steps, you would need to go back to the parish where these events happened in your life and have them remove those records. But the problem is, if it's them just keeping track of the fact that they did it, that's different than what we're talking about with the Mormon church, which is it's a fucking card, right? It's a file in a computer that has your name with all your stuff on it, and they're saying you are a member.
Well, I got news for you.
Just like if you were a member of a club. Right.
You're right. Now the bad news is that they don't have to expunge your records from their records, but what they can. So the way the Catholics do it is that they don't take off the fact that they don't redact your name from their records or anything like that. They just now add a little blip onto it that says has resigned.
Right. Sure.
Or in the Catholic lingo, has defected. In Catholicism, you don't resign from Catholicism on their front.
Is that punishable by death?
You defect from Catholicism. You offer them an actus formalis defectionis ab ecclesia. Ecclesia. Anyway, that's their official way of doing it. then next to your birth or your baptism record, they mark that you are now resigned.
Right. Okay.
There have been. I'm just going to go back to the legal thing really quickly. There have been cases filed. One of which was probably the strongest case was filed in Oklahoma. That's Gwynn versus Church of Collinsville.
Okay.
In Oklahoma, this went to the appellate courts in Oklahoma, and it was determined that Miss Gwynn, what was her name? Something Gwynn. Anyway, she had the right to. Marion Gwynn. What happened with Marion Gwynn is that she had been informed by her church that they were going to try her in some sort of church disciplinary action. This is Church of Christ, Collinsville, Oklahoma. They told her that they were going to try her for, I think, some sort of sexy crime, some sort of adultery or something.
You're too sexy, ma'am.
Madam, you're too sexy, and we're going to hold a court. Her response to that was to bring them a letter of resignation and just say, "I resign from the church. I'm not gonna put up with your stupid court, your disciplinary action."
She brought the sexy back.
She's bringing sexy back, and so she gave them the thing. Well, they decided not to bother with her resignation, and they excommunicated her after the fact, and they told the whole parish about it.
We talked about this on the show.
They got up in front of the parish and they said, "Hey, she's been excommunicated," and she sued.
Good for her, as she should,
and she won.
As she should have.
She won in appeals.
Okay.
And so what that says to us is that you have the right to resign at any time, and they can't. And the church then has no legal right to pursue anything beyond that. And that was a big deal. That is a big deal because a lot, and this is still a problem. A lot of pastors, a lot of ecclesiastical leaders believe that they have the right, believe that it's in their hands what happens to you in terms of your association with their church. As a matter of fact, in researching this, I found a blog post telling pastors, quote, "Don't let the people resign into thin air." And it basically just was saying, you know what, you don't have to accept their resignation. You can tell them, no, you're going to go to a disciplinary action. And you can put it in your governing documents, a clause that says, and he lists an example of the kind of language he was talking about. And this is from the Constitution of the church that he's a member of, which is the Third Avenue Baptist Church in Louisville. Clause 3, the church shall have authority to refuse a member's voluntary resignation or transfer membership to another church, either for the purpose of proceeding with a process of church discipline or for any other reason the church deems necessary or prudent. So, depending on what church you're in, they might try and bully you a little bit.
You got to have a fight on your hands.
Yeah. But in the United States of America, and that's all we are talking about. So sorry, Australian and British and
Canadian
and all these other listeners.
New Zealand. Finland.
You're going to have to sort out your own laws.
Yeah.
In terms of this. But in these United States, you have the legal right to leave, and they can't do shit after that.
Yeah.
They do not have the legal right to make comment about you, to contact you even if you ask not to be contacted.
Right.
They do not have the legal right to do pretty much jack shit.
Yeah.
They may still do it.
Right.
But you can sue it.
Yes.
That was my little rhyme.
They might do it, but you can sue it.
That's right. And if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah. I think you missed a calling in life.
I could be a
litigator.
A litigator, a defense lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer.
So here's the deal.
Okay.
This is leading us to something, which is there's something in the question or in the email, right? that leads me to believe that he's wondering whether he should, like, if this is an option for him,
or if it's something he should be considering, right?
Exactly, right. And so we wanted to kind of have that discussion. Should atheists resign from the church that their parents raised them in, or that they might have joined before being atheists?
Right. No, we'll start this discussion by saying that I didn't care that the Mormon Church was counting me as a member for the longest time.
Right.
I was an atheist for years before I resigned from the church.
Same here.
And finally, what pushed it over the edge for me was when the church was paying a lot of money to campaign against gay rights in California. And the whole Prop 8 thing pissed me the fuck off. And I said, hell's no. And not only did I resign, but I went to a big rally that was against Prop 8. And I had and I got 80 other people to resign from the church.
Right.
I went on a backwards mission and I killed it.
Yeah.
So that was my reason for resigning. But before that, it occurred to me that I didn't give a shit. Now, however, upon further reflection, I think we have to resign.
I know.
I think we, as an atheist community, it's not just to send a message to them, although that's nice. It's about us.
It is. Yeah.
It's about declaring your identity.
Yeah.
It's about regaining your identity from them.
Yeah. I don't think you can be a full atheist if there's a church out there that can claim you as a member.
There is a church out there that thinks that you belong to them. I mean, the Catholic Church specifically has a formal policy that they see you as a full a member of their flock forever.
Yeah.
Until you send them your Latin words, your actus formalis defectionis ab ecclesia.
It's just declaring who you are and standing up and saying, this is me.
It's a formal act of saying, look, you don't have to be a jerk about it.
No,
you can
not
be a
at
jerk
all.
about it if you want to. You can say, fuck
if that's
you.
what floats your boat, great.
That's fine. But you can also just say, look, I appreciate things that you've done for me, but that's not who I am.
Right.
And I need to be me.
Right.
And this is who I am.
Yeah.
And I think that is healthy. I think that is strong.
Yeah.
And I think that it is for our sake, not for theirs.
Right.
We must do this.
Right.
So we have decided we're embarking on an initiative, people.
We're a campaign, if you will. Yeah.
We want you to resign.
Yeah.
We want you to resign from your church.
And we want you to tell us about it.
Yes.
Because if you resign, and, when you resign. It's no longer an if, it's when. We would like you to send us a copy
of your resignation
letter. If you feel comfortable with it. If there's some things you want to redact
we're going to throw
purposes, that's fine.
We're going to throw some links up onto our website for helpful tools or helpful resources for how to resign.
Absolutely.
And we'll do as much as we can. If you guys send us some stuff about the laws in your land, we will also put that on our website.
Absolutely.
And we are going to. And if you send us a copy of your letter, and just tell us who you are and tell us your story, we will send you your atheist card.
You'll be a card-carrying atheist.
We're going to send you an atheist card. You don't have to do anything but just tell us. We just get such a kick out of this. We've realized that we think that this is important enough that we are just going to send it to you. You can include in this a donation to us if you want to. But
not necessary.
But we're not asking for it.
Yeah.
We will send you a little card. You can put it in your wallet if you want. It's just for fun. But we want you to be a card-carrying atheist, and we don't think you can do it until you've resigned from your church.
Yeah.
So
that's our cause.
It
only took 143 episodes to find our cause.
Our cause celeb. Aw.
I think it's great. I think it's important.
There are consequences to it, and so if you can't do it,
I get that. I totally understand that. Like might have a situation with a parent that you just don't want to upset for whatever reason.
As we learned from that voicemail, someone especially if you're Mormon, it's going to get back to your family.
Yeah.
And that can cause a lot of trouble in
But
the
she
Mormon.
was also ready. She was going to talk to her parents anyways about it.
So prep your mind.
Yeah.
If this is a process, people. If this takes you 5 years, it doesn't matter.
No.
We encourage you to go through the process. Face the process bravely. If you don't end up doing it, that's not we can't kick you out of atheism. It's not a thing.
But you don't get a card.
But you get no card.
You do not.
You do not get
the card.
The official "Thank God I'm Atheist" card. One website that I went to was talking about possible consequences and pointed out, by the way, for our Mormon listeners, if you're attending an LDS church-owned school. And I assume this applies to other church-owned schools, not LDS church-owned schools, but schools, that are religious in nature. You could be kicked out.
Yeah.
So get your shit in order before you do this.
If you're at BYU, you will be kicked out.
If you're at BYU, and
they allow non-Mormons to go there, but if you're Mormon when you start, or if you were Mormon at one point, and you no longer are,
right?
Nope.
Yeah. So be careful. They can technically, they probably won't just for a resignation, but technically they can even revoke old degrees.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So just be careful about that. Do your research. Get your credits transferred to another school before you resign, or whatever. But what we're urging is steps toward psychological freedom.
Yeah.
And we want it for you. If you've already sent in your letter, send us a copy of that.
Yeah.
We'll
send you the card.
If you've already done it, you get your card.
Yeah. And then let's say you've already done it and you don't have the letter because you didn't think it was much of a keepsake. That's fine too. Just let us know.
We're working with the honor system here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna believe you. This is for you, people.
However, we will not let this bankrupt us either.
No, that's true. That's true. We're not going to send out 4 million, whatever. But yeah, we want to send you the card. We will we'll put a mock-up up on the website
so you get a sense of it.
So you get a sense of what it's going to look like. There may be some.
Once you see it, you're going to want it.
Oh, it's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous. But yeah, we hope that you'll do this and. Link to the post on the website. Show your friends. Let people know that this is happening. We're starting a movement, people. Resigning from your church.
Yay!
Hooray!
Do it.
It's a joyful time, and we will celebrate you. Well, if you want to contact us about anything, including getting those letters of resignation to us, the way to do that is through the emails. That would be podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could leave us a voicemail at 424-666-8442.
Go onto the Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TGIAtheist, or the Twitter feed, @TGIAtheist.
And, of course, our website is thankgodimatheist.com. That's where you're going to find a lot of this stuff.
All of this stuff, yeah. And that's where you can donate also to the cause.
Yeah.
If you want to support people getting their card, just shoot a couple bucks our way. It'll be good.
Be great. All right. Well, thanks, of course, to Mackenzie for all of your help on Facebook.
You're fantastic. And thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for the use of your music.
All right. And thank you guys for listening. Have a great week.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.